I never thought my life would turn into this. A nightmare. A joke. A story people whisper about. But here I am, sitting in my empty house, staring at the walls that used to hold my family together. Now, they just remind me of the lies, the betrayal, the fact that the two people I trusted most in this world destroyed me. It started with small things. My wife, Lisa, had been acting off, distant. She'd take longer showers, stay out late, always on her phone but hiding the screen when I walked in. I told myself it was stress, work, the kids, life. But then the excuses piled up. I'm just tired. I need space. Don't worry about me. I should have known. The night everything shattered, I came home early from a work trip. Lisa wasn't in bed. The shower was running, but something felt wrong. The bathroom door was slightly open and I heard voices, low, intimate. My stomach dropped before my brain even processed it. Then I saw him, my own father, standing there, touching her. And she wasn't pushing him away. I didn't scream. I didn't even move. I just stood there, frozen. Like, my body refused to believe what my eyes were seeing. My wife, my father, in my house, in my shower. Lisa turned, saw me, and her face, God, her face, wasn't guilt. It was fear. Fear of getting caught, not regret. It's not what you think, she stammered. But it was. It exactly was. I walked out. Didn't say a word. Didn't punch him. Didn't cry. Just left. Drove for hours, numb, replaying every moment, every lie, every time I ignored the signs. When I finally came back, Lisa was gone. Just a note. We need to talk. Talk? About what? How long it had been going on? How many times she chose him over me? Over our family? The worst part? I keep wondering if it's my fault. Did I push her away? Did I not give her enough? Or was she just weak? I don't know. But I do know this. I'll never trust either of them again. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the couch, staring at the front door, waiting for her to come back. But she didn't. Instead, my phone buzzed at 3 a.m. A text from my father. Son, we need to talk. I laughed. A bitter, hollow sound that echoed through the empty house. Talk? After what I saw? After what he did? I didn't reply. By morning, Lisa still wasn't home. I called her, straight to voicemail. I called her sister, her best friend. No one knew where she was. Or at least, that's what they claimed. Then, my mother called. Your father told me everything. My stomach twisted. Everything? What did that even mean? How much was there? How long had this been happening? I drove to my parents' house, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. My father opened the door, his face pale, his eyes bloodshot. He looked guilty. But not enough. It was a mistake, he said. A mistake? I repeated, my voice shaking. How many times did you mistake my wife? He didn't answer. My mother sat at the kitchen table, silent, tears streaming down her face. She wouldn't look at me. Did you know? I asked her. She shook her head. Not until last night. I wanted to scream, to break something, to make them feel even a fraction of the pain I was feeling. But I just stood there, numb. Then my phone rang. Lisa. I'm at a hotel, she said, her voice small. Please, just hear me out. I hung up. I didn't want to hear her excuses. Not yet. Maybe not. Ever. 3 days. That's how long I waited before finally agreeing to meet Lisa. 3 days of silence, of rage boiling under my skin, of replaying that moment in the shower over and over until I wanted to rip my own mind out just to make it stop. She chose a coffee shop. Public, neutral, smart. Because if we'd been alone, I don't know what I would have done. When I saw her, my chest caved in. She looked tired. No makeup, hair thrown up in a messy bun, wearing the same hoodie she always stole from me. The familiarity of it made me sick. How could she sit there looking like my wife when she wasn't? Not anymore. She didn't wait for me to speak. It started 6 months ago. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Half a year of her laughing with me at dinner, kissing me goodbye, lying in our bed, while letting him touch her. He was drunk the first time, she whispered, staring at her coffee like it held answers. He came over when you were working late. I was in the shower. He just walked in. I clenched my fists under the table. And you just let it happen? She flinched. I didn't stop him. That was worse. So much worse. Why? The word tore out of me, ragged. Her eyes finally met mine. I don't know. Bullshit. Was it revenge? I demanded. Was I not giving you enough attention? Or did you just get off on the risk? She started crying then, big, messy tears. I never meant to hurt you. I stood up so fast my chair screeched. You fucked my father, Lisa. In our house. While I was away. People were staring. I didn't care. You don't get to cry now. I threw cash on the table and walked out. She called after me, but I didn't turn around. Because here's the truth, I didn't want her excuses. I wanted her to hurt like I did. And I was starting to realize the only way that would happen was if I made sure everyone knew exactly what she'd done. The coffee shop air smelled like burnt beans and regret. I sat there, gripping my untouched Americano, watching the steam rise like the last wisps of our dying marriage. 3 days since I'd caught them. 72 hours of alternating between numbness and white-hot rage. Lisa walked in 5 minutes late, something she never used to do. The old Lisa was punctual to a fault. But this wasn't the Lisa I married. This was someone else entirely. She slid into the booth across from me, her hands shaking as she tried to tuck her hair behind her ears. Thanks for coming, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't respond. Just stared at her, waiting. The silence stretched between us like a live wire. Finally, she broke. It started after your mom's birthday party. That night you had to work late and your dad offered to drive me home. A cold wave washed over me. That was nearly 8 months ago. 8 fucking months. He was different that night, she continued, tracing the rim of her cup. More attentive. Said all the things I'd been needing to hear from you. My jaw clenched so hard I tasted blood. So this is my fault now? No. That's not what I... Then what? He gave you some compliments and you just spread your legs for him? In our bed? In our shower? My voice was rising, but I couldn't stop myself. Did you think about me even once while you were moaning for my father? Her face crumpled. It wasn't like that at first. It started with texting, then lunches, then... Spare me the fucking details. I slammed my fist on the table, making the silverware jump. Several patrons turned to stare. How many times? She looked down at her lap. I don't know. You don't know? A bitter laugh escaped me. What, was he so good you lost count? Tears streamed down her face now. It wasn't about that. It was the way he looked at me. Like I was... Don't. I cut her off, my voice like gravel. Don't you dare try to romanticize this. The worst part? Part of me still loved her. Even now, seeing her cry, that stupid, traitorous part of me wanted to comfort her. I hated myself for it. He told me you were unhappy, she whispered. That you'd stopped appreciating me. That you might be seeing someone at work. My blood ran cold. And you believed him? She didn't answer. That was answer enough. I stood abruptly, throwing a 20 on the table. I want you out of the house by tonight. Take whatever you want. It's all tainted anyway. Please, she reached for my hand. Can't we? No. I yanked my arm away. There's no we anymore. There hasn't been for a long time. As I walked out, the bell above the door jingled like it was mocking me. I got in my car and sat there for 20 minutes, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Then, I did something I hadn't done since I was 12 years old. I called my big sister. Hey, little bro, she answered cheerfully. Then, hearing my silence, oh God, what's wrong? I opened my mouth to speak, but all that came out was a broken sob. And just like that, the dam burst. My sister Rachel showed up at my door within an hour. I was sitting on the floor of my living room, surrounded by Lisa's things that I'd started piling up like some pathetic monument to betrayal. Rachel took one look at me, at the mess, and pulled me into a hug so tight I couldn't breathe. And I didn't want to, because for the first time in days, I felt something other than rage. I felt safe. Then she asked the question I'd been dreading. What the hell happened? I told her. Everything. The shower, the texts, the 8 months of lies, the way my own father had looked at my wife, his daughter-in-law, like she was something to conquer. Rachel's face went through stages like grief, shock, disbelief, then a cold, quiet fury I'd only ever seen once before, when our dad walked out on Mom for 6 months back in high school. That manipulative bastard, she whispered. Turns out, this wasn't Dad's first rodeo. After Dad came back from his midlife crisis tour, Rachel said, pouring us both unhealthy amounts of whiskey, Mom found texts, so many texts, co-workers, her best friend from college, that waitress from the diner he always insisted had the best pancakes in town. She knocked back her drink. Mom stayed for us, and he knew it. I felt sick. All those years I'd blamed Mom for being cold, for keeping Dad at arm's length. Turns out she was just trying to survive him. He's a predator, Rachel said matter-of-factly. He picks vulnerable women. And Lisa, she trailed off, but we both knew. Lisa had been vulnerable after her miscarriage last year. The one I didn't handle well. The one we never properly grieved together. Mom answered on the first ring. I was wondering when you'd call. No hello, no pretense. Just the weary acceptance of a woman who'd seen this coming for decades. Did you know? I demanded, voice cracking. A long pause. Then, not about Lisa, but I recognized the signs. The extra time he spent helping her. The way he'd light up when she entered a room. Her voice turned sharp. I warned him. Told him. If he ever. You warned him? I exploded. And you didn't think to warn me? Silence. Then the worst thing she could have said. Would you have believed me? She came by that night to get her things. Rachel made herself scarce, but not before shooting Lisa a look that could have melted steel. Lisa looked wrecked. Dark circles. Puffy. Eyes. She held out her phone with trembling hands. You need to see these. Texts. Hundreds of them. From my father. You deserve so much better. He'll never appreciate you like I can. Meet me. Just once. Let me show you. And the kicker. A photo of our bed. Sent while I was at work. With the caption, Imagine me there instead of him. Lisa was sobbing. Now. I was stupid. I was lonely. But he pursued me. Relentlessly. And when I tried to end it last month, he threatened to tell you I seduced him. I stared at the messages, my entire body numb. This wasn't just an affair. This was a calculated takeover. I didn't knock. The front door of my parents' house crashed open under my boot, wood splintering like the last fragments of my restraint. Some distant part of me registered Rachel screaming my name from the driveway, but her voice sounded underwater. All I saw was him. My father sat in his leather armchair, my childhood armchair, sipping bourbon like he hadn't torn our family apart, like he hadn't been inside my wife. His eyes widened when he saw me. Son. I was on him before he could finish. The glass shattered against the wall as I hauled him up by his collar, smelling Lisa's perfume on his shirt. My cologne. Our life. Show me your phone. My voice didn't sound human. Mom came running from the kitchen. Oh God, Michael! Not my name. His. The name Lisa had moaned in our bed. Rachel grabbed Mom's arm. Let him do it. His phone unlocked with the password I'd known since childhood. Mom's birthday. The ultimate insult. There they were. Photos of Lisa's thighs in our shower. Videos I couldn't watch past the first second. Messages detailing exactly how he'd manipulated her. He'll never satisfy you like this. Sent the night I worked late. You're too good for him. Sent after our anniversary dinner. Does he even know what he has? Sent with a photo of her sleeping in our bed. Worst of all, a folder labeled J, my childhood nickname, filled with screenshots of my texts to Lisa, my work schedule. Notes, About when I'd be traveling. He'd studied me. Why? The word tore from my throat raw. My father didn't deny it, didn't beg. Just looked at me with that same calculating stare he'd used during Little League games when I'd disappointed him. Because I could, he said simply. Mom made a sound like a dying animal, then he smirked. And let's be honest, you were neglecting her. If it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. Rachel's arms locked around my waist as I lunged. Not like this, she screamed. He's not worth prison. I threw the phone at his head instead. It split his eyebrow open, a satisfying burst of red. You're dead to me, I spat. The funeral's tomorrow. You show up, I'll put you in the ground myself. Mom collapsed into Rachel's arms. My father just dabbed at his forehead with a monogrammed handkerchief, the one Lisa gave him for Father's Day, and said the words that would haunt me forever. You'll forgive me. You always do. Police lights flashed outside as neighbors called. It's about the noise. Rachel handled them while I sat on the curb, shaking with adrenaline. Lisa found me there. She didn't speak, just pressed a single sheet of paper into my hands. Divorce papers already signed. As she walked away, my father's voice carried from the house. Lisa, sweetheart, we need to talk. She froze, then did something that finally made me believe her. Spun around and screamed, "Fuck you," loud enough to rattle windows. For the first time in months, I felt something like hope. Lisa's name flashed on my screen at 2:17 a.m. I shouldn't have answered. After the divorce, after the restraining order against my father, after the court-mandated therapy, I'd finally started breathing again. But old habits die screaming. I'm pregnant. Her voice was hollow. No joy, no fear. Just a statement of fact, like reading a death sentence. The math hit me like a truck. We hadn't touched each other in over a year, which meant it's his. We met at our old couples therapist's office, neutral territory. Lisa looked different. Not just the slight roundness to her belly, 4 months along I'd later learn, but harder. The kind of hardness that comes from surviving an explosion. She slid a manila envelope across the table. Read it. The DNA test results shook in my hands. 99.98% probability of paternity. And the name listed under alleged father wasn't my father's. It was mine. After the restraining order hearing, Lisa whispered, "You showed up at my apartment, drunk, devastated. It just happened." I remembered drinking. Remembered screaming at her pictures. Waking up in my car parked outside her building with no memory of how I got there. "Why didn't you tell me?" She touched her stomach protectively. "I thought you'd think I was trapping you. Or worse, that it was his." The unspoken truth hung between us. Maybe it still could be. We stood together at my father's sentencing, 6 months for harassment, a slap on the wrist. He smirked at Lisa's belly as they led him out in handcuffs. "Congratulations, son." That's when I finally understood. This wasn't about sex, wasn't even about Lisa. It was about owning me. The baby kicked when I pressed my hand to Lisa's stomach. A girl. Our daughter, conceived in grief and rage and whatever broken love still lived beneath the rubble. Lisa looked up at me, tears cutting through her armor. "I don't expect anything from you. But I'd already made my decision. Not for her. Not for him. For the tiny life that deserved better than all of us. My father will never meet his granddaughter. Lisa and I will never be husband and wife again. But every Sunday, I pick up my daughter and we spend the day at the park, just the two of us, where I whisper the same promise into her curls. I'll break the cycle. What would you have done? Could you forgive? Could you co-parent with someone who betrayed you so deeply? Let me know in the comments. And if this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear that even the most broken relationships can leave something beautiful behind. Thank you for watching to the end. For more raw, real stories of betrayal and redemption, check my other videos. And remember, some family trees need pruning.